Welcome to me talking about snail toxins. No, your mystery snail eggs do not contain a neurotoxin. I feel like this is a myth that has been mostly busted at this point, but I do still see it on the internet sometimes. So let's talk about why mystery snail eggs are not neurotoxic. All right, let's cover some snail basics for a second, okay? Mystery snails are a type of apple snail, but a square is a rectangle. All mystery snails are apple snails, not all apple snails are mystery snails. There's about 100 recognized species of apple snails. I think there was more since this paper came out, but that's what we'll go with for this video. Point is, there's a ton of them, but the mystery snail that you typically buy at a pet store is the Pomacea diffusa, or the Burgesi? Okay, sorry. There's arguments over that one and like how often you're actually getting Burgesi, blah, 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 blah. People like to fight over that one. We're not even gonna get into it. But most of the things about the diffusa also apply to the Burgesi, including the whole toxin thing. You know that the snails that you buy at pet stores are the Pomacea diffusa for a few reasons. A, they are much smaller than the wild type apple snails. And B, they won't destroy your plants. Here's why they won't destroy your plants real quick. Here is the Pomacea canaliculata. I'm probably saying that wrong, I don't care. This is one of the species of apple snails that has been invading ecosystems all over the world and wreaking havoc on them. To be fair, their invasion in Florida actually saved the Florida kite, which is a bird, so at least there's that, I guess. Most of the time they do more harm than good because they destroy all of the native vegetation and outcompete the native species. And one of the reasons that they are able to tear through so much vegetation so quickly is because of their throat game. I'm not joking. Apple snails and a lot of other mollusks in general have jaws made of chitin and then something called a radula. A radula is this weird cheese grater throat tongue thing that tears up the vegetation as they are swallowing it. This is what the radula looks like on a diagram, and this is what the radula of a Pomacea canaliculata looks like in real life. This is what its jaws look like in real life. Keep these images in mind. This is what the radula and jaws of a Pomacea diffusa, the mystery snail, look like in real life. See the difference? See how different that is? You can probably tell why one is a voracious plant eater destroying ecosystems all over the world, and one mostly just wants your leftover fish food or maybe some algae sometimes if they feel like doing their job. So what does this have to do with neurotoxins? Not a lot. I just wanted to say it, honestly. But I just wanted to establish how different the mystery snail is from like the invasive apple snail. There's a period of time online where people were obsessed with telling each other on the internet that if they so much as touched a clutch of mystery snail eggs, they would die a horrible, slow, painful, neurosymptomatic death. This is not true. In short, Pomacea diffusa does not carry the toxin that Pomacea canaliculata and Pomacea maculata do. But let's get into it further because it's actually really cool. For the rest of this video, I'm gonna be referring to Pomacea canaliculata and Pomacea maculata as wild apple snails. A lot of like nuance to that. That's just what I'm gonna be calling them for the rest of this video to make it easier. So wild apple snail eggs do contain a protein called PCPV2 or PMPV2, shortened to PV2, which is both enterotoxic and neurotoxic when digested by small animals. This is a defense mechanism. It prevents the animal from eating all of the eggs or coming back for the eggs later. Another quick fact, sometimes you will hear that the reason that wild apple snail eggs are this bright pink color is because of this toxin, and that's not actually true. They're bright pink because of a protein called PV1, which contains a carotenoid pigment, which makes their eggs bright red and serves as a, hey, I'm poison warning to predators. But we're not small animals and we're not eating these. For us, when touched, it mostly just causes bad skin irritation. I'm sure in super large amounts, or if you do eat it, you're gonna have bigger problems, okay? But accidentally touching these eggs once and then washing your hands afterwards is not going to bring with it this horrific, seizure-riddled, nervous system breakdown of a death that some people on Reddit will have you believe. Let me clarify. don't touch the wild apple snail eggs, okay? They do still contain this toxin, and it's still a good idea to wear gloves if you are going to be handling them. On top of that, the neurotoxin is not the only thing with these eggs that you need to worry about. They also carry rat lungworm and a bunch of other bacteria and diseases which could definitely you up. Thanks to modern medicine, if you have access to it, yeah, you're probably not gonna die, but it's definitely not gonna be like a fun time, okay? So like, yeah, don't touch the egg, but like, again, wash your hands, go to the doctor if you start feeling, but like, you're probably not gonna die. Like, you're probably gonna be okay. But as I said earlier, Pomacea diffusa eggs don't even contain PV2. Mystery snail eggs do not contain the neurotoxin. They do not contain PV2. How many times can I say that in one video? It's literally not there. If you're anything like me and you just learned that, you're gonna be like, well, what the how do they defend their eggs then? What does a mystery snail do to make sure their eggs don't get eaten? Great question. Glad you asked. Mystery snail eggs contain something called PDPV1, which is a anti-nutritive lectin. So small animals will eat the eggs, them out, and some of the eggs will still survive, assuming that they weren't like crushed, which is actually really cool in its own right? Like, think about that. I mean, it's not a neurotoxin, but like, apple snails said, I'm going to kill you with my eggs. Mystery snails said, I will never hurt you, but you're not digesting my kids. That's what you're not gonna do. Well, should we be worried about this lectin? No. To be fair, again, mystery snail eggs are still covered in bacteria and nasty stuff. You should still wash your hands afterwards, okay? But if we're talking about lectins, there's a ton of foods that we eat that contain lectin, including potatoes, tomatoes, kidney beans, soy, peanuts, lentils, eggplants, bell peppers, wheat, quinoa, rice, wheat, why did I say wheat twice? And barley. However, the lectins are usually broken down by the time that we eat them because we cook food. But if you eat too much of it raw, it will make you constipated or your brains out, depending on how your body reacts to that. So there's that. But yeah, don't eat the mystery snail eggs. Still wash your hands after you touch them. They're still gross. But your mystery snails will never hurt you. They do not contain a neurotoxin. They don't want to make you die a horrific death. They just don't want you to digest their kids. That's it. Hope you liked this. Okay, bye. Pomacea maculata. Pomacea maculata. Say that as many times as you can. Why is Latin so hard? Why did we make it so hard? Why did they do that? Maculata. Me.